It's lovely to have you here with us this morning on the eve for us of what will be a very special day tomorrow, this extraordinary concert. Tell us a little bit, Naomi, about how it was that you first came to meet Nelson Mandela.
I met Nelson Mandela in '94 after I stepped off the stage of being one of the judges of Miss World, and I donated all the proceeds, all my wages to the ANC. And next thing I knew, I was being whizzed away to meet the great man himself. And I got to have an amazing 20-year relationship, like a grandfather-granddaughter relationship. And he's always will be very close to my heart. I learned a lot from this man.
And what was he like when you met him? I imagine on one level it could be rather daunting, but also, did he manage to put you at ease?
Not at all. He made everyone feel at ease, and he was extremely humble and very intuitive. He could tell you, I'll be in New York, and he would say, I need you to come to South Africa tomorrow. And I would know exactly why, and I would get on the plane and I would come. He was very comforting, very observant, and we spoke very few words, but we understood each other. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever meet someone like that in my life again, in my lifetime.
No, he was so unique. And he taught you to sort of trust to be you, didn't you? Tell him about what advice he gave you there.
I think, well, he taught me to be me, to be my authentic self, which I've always tried to remain being, whether people liked it or didn't like it, and to speak my truth. And that's the way I've tried to live my life in every capacity and everything I committed myself to being involved in. And that's hopefully, that's the only thing we can do for ourselves, is to live our authentic selves, is to live by our truth. That's, the best way we can go out, knowing that we did that.
We're just looking at some lovely pictures of the two of you together, and clearly there was a very, very close bond. The fact that he called you his honorary granddaughter must have been very special indeed. Do you have a favourite memory or moment that you spent with Nelson that you still think back to now, Naomi?
Well, most importantly for me is I knew that I had this wonderful, great man in my life, President Nelson Mandela, but I also knew that I had to share him. So hence, on 1998, I brought 78 people over, including Kate Moss, Christy Turlington, Bridget Hall, Erin O'Connor, Karen Nelson, and shared him a benefit for Gianni Versace, having him passed away in 1997, and a tribute to Gianni Versace benefit in the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. So we got to share him, and that was what was important, that I knew that I couldn't just keep him for myself, that I had to make sure that everybody that I knew, got to experience and to feel this wonderful presence of this amazing human being.
Naomi, if you ever feel like...
that's why for me to be a producer...
Yeah, carry on, sorry.
To be producing, not only am I co-hosting, I'm producing this event this weekend with Global Citizen, and it's been, it's been great. I'm someone who loves to pick up the phone, whether I know you or not. I do not accept no for an answer and get people involved. And it's been, from Dave Chappelle, who's the host, to Trevor Noah, who's co-hosting with Dave Chappelle, and Bob Geldof. And it's been, everybody who respected President Nelson Mandela wanted to be here and has committed their time in being here, also knowing that we have to eradicate poverty by 2030. And that's what we hope the leaders, the heads of states that will be here this weekend, will make that contribution of sustainability, of eradicating education, poverty, sanitation. We hope that they're all going to get up and commit to these commitments of getting rid of these things by 2030. That's what we hope.
You're a great advocate and very passionate. I bet when you pick up the phone, people say yes as well. You said it really well. There was one thing I wanted to hear from you, though, is back in 1994 when you first met him, it was your first experience of being in South Africa, an experience behind it. It was very frightening for you, wasn't it? Just talk us through what that was like.
It wasn't so much frightening, but my eyes were open. I wasn't aware to what apartheid, the word, really meant. until I got here, and I saw it for myself. And I remember I saw the remnants, the ending of it. And it was, you know, it was an eye-opener for me. And I understood when I would travel with him, with President Mandela on the blue train from Johannesburg to Cape Town, that not everybody loved Granddad and not everybody wanted him to be president. And I remember when he said to me, I'm going to step down from being president. And I was like, why would you do that? You know, after all that you sacrificed these years to be here. And it made sense in the end because he could gain and support the children and eradicating poverty much more by not being by being non-political and by not being president of South Africa. And it's, you know, a lot of things that he said to me then, I was so young, I wasn't understanding all of it. And so much of it comes back to me in spurts now, and I understand. And so, yes, it was really, for me, quite, of course I knew about racism, but not on the level, I didn't call it racism, I didn't know about the division of apartheid and what it had done to a country until I got here.
The wonderful thing, Naomi, is that we're celebrating 100 years since his birth, and undoubtedly his legacy is going to continue for decades and hopefully centuries to come.
Well, it's so great to be here with the Mandela family and, you know, his grandchildren, his daughters, his widow, Mama Graça Michelle. And yes, his legacy will continue because this is someone that truly sacrificed himself for the people. And what I've seen in the last few days of being here in South Africa, he would be so proud. They're not waiting for people to do things for them. They are doing it themselves. And that's what I'm so overwhelmed with happiness to see this and to be part of this. Africa in general, the narrative of Africa has to be rewritten. It's been written in such a way of, it's not always poor this, poor that, picking up hunger, it's not that. Africa is an extremely, in nutrients, a rich continent and needs to be treated so. It needs to be a destination stop across the board in music, fashion, art, culture, architecture. And the narrative must be rewritten, and now is the time to do so.
Wow. Well, you're starting and continuing his brilliant work, and you're starting to rewrite that, aren't you, with your big event that's tomorrow in terms of our time. Lovely chatting to you this morning. Great to see you.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. And thank you
and I wish you was here. The weather is beautiful.
Oh.
We wish we were there.
Thank
Can't you ship
day.
us over like you did those supermodels? That would be fabulous.
It's summertime here. Summertime. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you. Have a great day.
It's going to be an amazing gig. Thank you so much, Naomi Campbell. There you go, in Johannesburg.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was just thinking if Naomi felt like bringing some of her friends to share with me as well, I'd be very happy to share.
She's apparently not afraid to pick up the phone, but not to us so far.
Beyonce, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran. It's going to be an amazing event.